Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good time. Thank you for joining this talk, Tracing Bullet and Prototyping Development in the Era of AI. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Arina Komalova. I'm ex-Revolut engineer and I worked at Bacat software engineer for 9+ years in the industry. Currently, I'm vice president lead software engineer at JP Morgan Chase, and today I'm mother of under 1 year old baby. So you can see my picture with my baby. And also, I'm founder of Women Coding Community and the ex-senior director of Women Who Code EMEA Networks. So today I'm going to talk about development, and I'm going to talk about three types of development that you may think exist in your work streams, in your life, in your day-to-day tasks. So let's think about it as three different categories. That's how I categorized it. First of all, traditional development, which also I could name as straightforward. You can think about it as waterfall model, which is classic models of development, and we will talk later what is the difference between them. And it still exists right now in the world because it's something that you may do very straightforwardly and very easily to add new feature, to add new service that's just repeat the same thing that was done before with slightest changes for your business side. So basically, it's very common development as well. Prototyping, something that can find in startup environment where you don't know yet what exactly is going to happen, what exactly is going to bring your business profit. So something when we say MVP pilot, proof of concept, rapid aggressive development, research and development, and tracing bullet, which also can name as agile, the most flexible development or minimum value product as well. Today I'm going to cover these three categories so you can reflect your software journey. And of course, we will talk about AI, how it's reflected here as well. Let's start with traditional development. Let's think about requirements. If you have requirements which is clear and transparent, you 100% sure what is going to be at the end, it's something that you can use as traditional development for your life cycle. You can also think about code as best practices and verified tools, and it's likely happening with established business, established environment, established everything around. Ship it, you already have CI/CD, it's as a cloud, as a solution. Feedback, you just tune a few things to make it perfect because you knew what has to be done. At the end, you close the project and that's it. That's very straightforward. So the idea about this development that we want to embrace boredom here. Sometimes you don't like this task because it's just another way to do the things, and it's clear and straightforward, and you can experiment with technologies. It's boring, but you can do the same as proved with verified tools. And there are slightly you can get help from AI, for example, for writing tests with Copilot if you already have established context. However, from the practice that I saw, if you try to generate code through AI tools at this age, you will start to teach your coding generation tools context, explain how you would do the thing in the best way with verified tools, with best practices. So you end up to spend much more time to generate this code rather just write it by yourself. So that's we can think about traditional development. And let's move to prototyping. It's something that's happened a bit rarely if you go to startup or if you need to launch something that we don't know yet if it's going to bring value at all. If it's A/B testing, it's something that may happen in marketing where we need to validate if these flags, features, and these colors for buttons should work to attract people. So we may just throw away this code tomorrow. So we don't really care about clean code. And if we want to generate something from scratch, well, yes, we can use AI and generative AI code tools because we can justify it, get the feedback, and we need to reiterate, so we need to clean it and rebuild with best practices. In prototyping, you also can do breaking changes, which is kind of dancing thing. Yes, we like it. And now I'm going to talk about something that's balanced these two sides. It's when you know for sure that you would have customers and they would like these features, but it's not yet clear how exactly to approach them. We call it tracing bullet development. This idea came from the book Pragmatic Programmer, which is quite old book. I do not recommend to read the whole book. However, this concept is very helpful to understand how to approach new projects. We can think about them as rather we aim, fire, we first fire and then aim. And fire means that we can start code a bit earlier before we get all requirements to be done. And the idea is that we do not stuck with collecting requirements and justify tools and etc. We can still use best practices, and at the same time we can try new tools and new ways to bring the technology to be alive. We can ship it and see the target, and if we didn't hit target this time, we get the feedback as a clarified requirements and we reiterate. We still can do breaking changes because we still tracing, which is mean you need to keep in mind that you may change something. You need to have frameworks to be ready for these changes. And before I continue, as someone who watched this talk, I would like you to get a big, deep breath, inhale, because we are starting a big project and we're going to see how we may approach different development as categories. Wow, let's go. Starting a big project. We need to answer these three important questions before we start the project. When to start the project, when to stop the project, and how we can do this. So let's start. We need to gather requirements. I love these two words, gathering requirements, because it sounds like we just get basket, we just walk and we collect requirements like flowers, like they gather it around. The problem is that in reality, it's really hard to get requirements because business may not know the whole picture yet. Or may they start new challenges that's never done before, which is mean requirements completely unseen and haven't been there again. We may start and copy other solutions on the market, which can get us the most idea what is going to be happen. And in this case, as a developer, as a software engineer, you should think as a user, as a end user. You should go with full passion for your project, and your requirements will be not only business requirements, but how would you as a user approach this? How would you as developers and debug it and to see the result? And how would you investigate issues? How would you see that something went wrong on the user side? So you need to think about all those, and you need to address challenges to business and ask them, what would you do in this edge case? What would you do in next edge case? And the most important part, to be aware of how system connected, to be able to connect dots, and to be able to translate to business that, these dots are connected already. If we change this one, A dot, we're going to break B dot, and we're going to affect C dot. So think about requirements as something that's your responsibility to deal with this. It can't be that straightforward in reality. So let's think what we have at the end when we try to collect gathered around requirements. We may find out that it's clear and simple, which is likely just a new feature, just we repeat ourselves at some point, but it's new functionality still, and it's really straightforward how to develop it. It may be mysterious, so we don't know if clients need it indeed. Oh, wow. But it could be just cloudy. We have a sense what's going to be done, and we 100% sure that users need these features. In the first place, with clear and simple, transparent requirements, it's traditional development, it's prototyping if we don't even know if clients really need this feature. And it's tracing bullet that we are sure that feature should be there, but we don't know yet what exactly. But we need to clean everything at the end, as it will be definitely the solution. Okay, we answered this question, when to start. Let's go to the question, when to stop. It's also very important when you start a big project, you need to say when you're going to stop. If it's straightforward, we just launch new feature, just ship it, new service, whatever. We close it, we fixed all bugs and addressed the user's feedback to business, and then we're ready. We need to be with a great dashboard in the place. We need to know how analytics will see the error. We need to do all alerts, and then we're done. We clean. Prototyping, well, as soon as it's ready and we see what user related to, we throw it away and we start with clean code base to build something that's either just straightforward because we know exactly what we want, as a still we have a sense what we want, and we trace in the bullets again. So, okay, and now how it can be done. Now let's AI. Let's add AI, as we know there is no AI without API, and we should now think how we can approach different things and different projects. Where we can add AI. So if we talk about traditional development, we can think that it's the worst place to try code-generated tools, vibe coding, etc., because you would end up to teach your tools this context so much more time, while just to ship it as it is, as you would approach it by yourself without any help of AI. And again, it might be helpful with coding tools for testing, like Copilot can learn from your code base and generate at least tests in slightly similar ways that you would like to do this. So you may save time there. For prototyping, it's of course the best place. You can do whenever dirty code that you want. You can generate what you want from everything in the internet it was created, because you know where it's coming from, and it's not going to be clean and good, and that's thoughtful if it would you that do this, but it will work. So that's why in prototyping you can go with it. And this tracing bullet development, what we should say here, my favorite, it depends. It depends like how far away you're from target. If you're far away from target, it's very, very far away. You may gain benefit again from new tools, from code generated pro vibe coding, etc. But if you already have best practices in place, there may be again too much time to spend to teach context to create code base for you. So it depends. Now, as we looked at these three categories and we answered all our questions, we can think again which one is what it is: traditional, clear and simple requirements, prototyping, cost-effective way to test idea, and tracing bullet, ready, fire, aim, instead of it, fire first and then aim. Yeah. So AI like GitHub Copilot would be useful even for traditional, but keep in mind that you won't get too much sense of it. But for prototyping, you can use any wave coding tools, even Cursor, even Claude AI, so whatever you want. And in traditional and tracing bullet, it may help you to cut corners. So thank you so much for spending 15 minutes for my talk. If you want to find me, please Google me and ask me any questions about how would you approach your development. I hope you enjoyed this talk, and I hope to see you around in person in API Days conference. Bye.